how to protect your land in Freetown, Sierra Leone. This short article looks at ways in which you could protect your land. Now, if you got land either through purchase or inheritance, you basically have three options if you own that land. You could sell it, you could build it, or you could protect it. There's a fourth option, which is do nothing. If you do nothing, the chances are very high that somebody will steal it anyway. So we're looking at the case where you don't want to sell, you do not want to build, but you want to protect your land. And that's what this article is all about. The suggestions are: make sure you have up-to-date copies of the conveyance and it is registered with the Registrar General. It will have everything in there, you know, how you got the land, including the plan. Now, this plan also has to be registered with the Ministry of Lands, and that is where you got to be very, very careful. There have been a lot of cases where people have gone and registered land that does not belong to them, and they have found it very difficult to prove otherwise. Moving forward, you could do and build a so-called pan body for caretaker. This should cost you about between $1,000 and $2,000, and then you can hire a person to look after it, and you pay them $10 maybe to $50 a month. That is one option. Two things to bear in mind. One, if the caretaker lives there very long, has a wife and children, and happens to pass away, there's a good chance that you might end up in conflict with the children, who would erroneously claim that the land belongs to them, that you had promised their dad that he will give them the land for looking after it. There are many, many cases like this, so you got to be very careful. So as an alternative, someone suggested on Facebook that it is better for you to actually build a pan body and then rent it out to somebody for a very, very low amount, like 25,000 leones, or $2.50 a month. That person is a tenant and indirectly will then look after the land, and there's no argument about the old man has given me this land. If you need to protect the land using columns, you should at the very least put the columns every 50 feet. If you have money and can afford it, it is even better to put the columns every 25 feet or every 12.5 feet. Each column will cost you roughly $100. It might be a little bit more or less depending on where it is. That's the first version. If you want to make it even more secure, you can wall it, and then it is wiser then to have smaller gaps within the columns. Now, based on our experience, the cost of a wall, so with blocks, solid blocks, is about $20 per foot. So an example is, if you have one town lot and you need to protect it, and one town lot is 75 by 50 feet, that would be 75 plus 75 is 150, 50 plus 50 is 100, so 250 feet times 20 means that it will cost you almost $5,000 to protect one town lot. If you add the cost of the pan body as well, you're looking at between $5,000, $6,000 and $7,000 just to protect the land. Again, if it is something that you plan to do later on, see if there's anything you could do, like build a little shop that you could rent out that would give you some form of economic activity. And there you have it. Please subscribe to our newsletter. Go to www.siwachronicle.com, find this article, click on subscribe to our newsletter to hear about other things involving Sierra Leone and the diaspora as well, because the Siwa Chronicle is actually a magazine for Sierra Leoneans in the diaspora.